Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. I'll give everyone a minute to join in. This right here, this is my best friend here in the office. I have this little speaker and I use this to listen to some tunes. And it's really convenient just because it's so small. I can carry it with me and take it anywhere I go. If you guys need a Bluetooth speaker, you should get a little one. Just throw it in your bag, take it with you. It's pretty nice to have, and you can focus a little bit better if you have some relaxing tunes playing while you're doing some work. And this time, we have a new situation, and you go out on a date with somebody who seems like a good match for you. Ooh, this person seems like they're charming, good looking, nice. Maybe things will go well. But does everything work out? Not exactly. So in our first part, our first conversation, we have a good, positive personality on our date. Wow, that's great. Yeah, let's share. But things don't work out because maybe the other person thinks you're too nice. Has this ever happened to you? Sometimes that's a reason for breaking up too. Ooh, you like me too much. Ooh, you're too nice. I want someone who's a little bit less lovey-dovey. So sometimes it might not work out if you're too positive, right? And then in this lesson, we started learning about the 5 stages of grief, which is a popular topic in the West, and people in America will know what this is. And it's pretty common to hear people talking about this. So it's an interesting way to approach this lesson. Conversation 1 talks about being in denial. Being in denial is where you have something bad go wrong in your life, and you just, at first, the first thing you want to do is, no, that can't be happening. I don't believe it. There's no way these bad things are happening to me. Of course not. It's okay. But then later, we'll find out what the other stages are. So this conversation dealt with being in denial and the problems that come with that. Okay. And so let's just get right into our homework and get started. So our first homework part is 他显现得很有自信，但其实他很自卑. Oh, so that's too bad. I would write this as, he appears to be really confident, but he's actually really insecure. Ooh, poor guy. Maybe he's trying his hardest, but in his heart, he doesn't have that confidence. Okay? So I use the word appears. He appears to be really confident, meaning it looks like that. He appears to be really confident. And I use the present tense because it's talking about in general, and generally about this person. He appears to be really confident. So it looks like that's what's true. If you use the past tense, which a few people use past tense and said he appeared to be really confident, that would be talking about one situation, one time. Maybe I saw him yesterday and he appeared to be really confident that one time. But if you're talking about in general, you would use appears with an S, okay? And I also saw he acts like confidence. You don't act like confidence. You would say he acts confident. Use the adjective there. He acts confident. That would be fine. So the meaning is slightly different. Appears means when I look at him, that's the feeling I get. But if you say he acts confident, meaning the way he does things seems confident. So he acts confident with a T. And so the word confident means you believe in yourself. So a few people wrote self-confident, but confident and self-confident are basically the same. So you don't need the word self. The word confident by itself already means about you. Okay? If you're using confident for other things, you'd add more words. But confident by itself includes the feeling of self. Okay? The second part was a little bit more tricky. but he's actually really insecure. Okay? So no big problems with he's actually really blah, blah, blah. But then the word here I use is insecure. Now, insecure is the same as not having confidence. So insecure means you aren't confident, you don't have confidence, and also maybe you're a little bit nervous about things. You're insecure. This is a very common word to describe someone's personality and how they act. Ooh, he's always unsure of himself. He's not confident about what he does. You could say he is insecure, okay? Now, a lot of students use the word inferior. Now, inferior doesn't really work here very well. Inferior means not very good. So we have something that's good, something that's inferior means it's less good, it's bad, okay? So you could say he feels inferior, but it sounds a little bit too, it's not the most common way to say this. So he feels inferior, meaning he feels like he is worse than other people, okay? He's actually really insecure. Insecure means you're nervous about things, you're worried about what you do, you don't have confidence. You can say he feels inferior. That would be okay. Or if it's really serious, you could say he has an inferiority complex. An inferiority complex means that someone always thinks they are bad at things. And that's pretty serious. I'll type it into the chat. It's the inferiority complex. So many of you use the word inferior, but it's pretty serious. It means he thinks he's terrible, okay? But then you could also keep it simple and use the opposite of confident. He appears to be confident, but he's actually lacking confidence. So he doesn't have confidence. He actually isn't confident. He has low confidence. All of these would be okay. But I would probably use the word insecure because it's a pretty common word to describe someone who doesn't trust themselves. Oh, I'm going to do a bad job. Okay? So, let's keep on moving. Next up is 珍妮提出分手，但 Bob 拒绝接受. Oh, poor Bob. Actually, poor Bob, this is kind of a weird situation, right? Jenny suggested that they break up, but Bob refused to accept it. You can't refuse being broken up with. If she breaks up with you, you can't say, no, we are not breaking up. What? That doesn't work. So here, the first part, I say, Jenny suggested that they break up. So suggested means she put it forward, she suggested it, she said this is a good idea. And in the past tense, because it already happened. Jenny suggested that they break up. So you use the word that to connect what she said to connect her in her action to what she said. Jenny suggested that they break up. So she put it out there. Still pretty hot in here. Okay. And I use suggested because it's kind of like she's saying, this is a good idea. We should do this. A few students use the word asked. Jenny asked if they could break up, something like that. For a breakup, we don't often use the word ask because usually someone doesn't ask to break up because you suggest it. You say, this is a good idea. If you ask it, you're asking them to let you break up. That sounds pretty serious. Maybe they control you. Please, can we break up? That sounds pretty bad, right? So asked is using the word asked is a little bit weird here. It makes it seem a little bit creepy, okay? So Jenny suggested that they break up. You could also use other phrases for break up. You could say Jenny suggested that they end their relationship. Oh, so sad. And then the second part, everyone did pretty well with, but Bob refused to accept it. So after the word refuse, we have two verbs. Bob refused, he said no, to accept it. So he will not say, okay, we're broken up. So here we have accept it. And the word it is talking about this situation, this breakup idea. So it's good to have the word it here. Bob refused to accept it, meaning he refused to accept this situation. Using the word it means we're talking about this situation. Okay? Now, I have a question about our first sentence. He appears to be really confident, but he's actually really insecure. The question is, how about he seems confident? Yes, that would be okay. So appears to be and seems are basically the same. He seems really confident. Or you could say he seems to be really confident. Both are okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay? And then let's keep on moving. So our next phrase, practicing verb to verb, we have 我提议帮大家订饮料，因为我希望跟大家变熟. So I offered to buy everyone drinks because I'm hoping to get to know everybody better. Okay. I offered to buy everyone drinks because I'm hoping to get to know everybody better. Okay. Now, there are a few different ways to write this, so if yours is different, don't worry about it. Okay? I started with the word offered. I offered to buy everyone drinks. Offered means you tell everyone that you have this idea. Hey, can I do this for you? That's an offer. You want to do something, you want to do something for someone, so you offer it to them. I offered to buy everyone drinks. So maybe you say, hey everyone, would you like a drink? I'm buying. Something like that. Okay? I also saw students use the word suggest. I suggested to buy everyone drinks. But usually suggesting is you're giving an idea. Like an idea for other people to do. If you want to do it for some of other people, offer is a good thing to do, or a good word to use. Suggest is when you're giving someone an idea of what they should do. I suggest that you do this, okay? I also saw a student use the word volunteer. I volunteered to buy everyone drinks. If you use the word volunteer, it sounds like somebody wanted someone to do it. Maybe the boss said, hey, can someone go buy everyone drinks? And then you volunteer. Oh, I can do it. So volunteer suggests that there's a need for this, and then you volunteer to do it. But if there's no need, like it's completely out of nowhere, you can offer it. So you surprise everyone and offer to buy them drinks. Okay? So volunteer, there's a need for it, and then you do it. Offer means you just want to do it, and you offer it to people. Okay? So offered is a little bit better here. So I said I offered to buy everyone drinks. You could also say I offered to order everyone drinks. That's fine. The focus is just on buy versus order. So if you use the word buy, it makes it clear that you're going to pay for it. If you say I offered to order everyone drinks, maybe you're going to ask them for money later, okay? So buy means use your money. Order means you call and get them to send it to you, okay? I saw someone use the word book. Book and order are similar, but book is usually used when you want to reserve a place, like you book a room at a hotel or you book a table at a restaurant. We don't usually use book when you're buying things, okay? So book is for like a place or a space. So you order drinks, you book a hotel, okay? And then Here, I just use the word drinks because it's straightforward. I saw a student use the phrase hand-shaken drinks, which I think in Chinese would be like 手摇杯 or something like that. But in English, we don't say that. We don't have that phrase. Just use the word drinks, okay? You could be more specific and say like bubble tea or something like that if you want. Okay, and then the second part, because I'm hoping to get to know everybody better. Okay, so you could say I hope to or I'm hoping to. Both are okay. Hope to verb. And what do you hope to do? I'm hoping to get to know everybody better. So to get to know someone is to become familiar with them. And get to know is probably the more common way to say this. I want to get to know everybody better. So maybe you know them a little bit now, but you want to know them better. So I'm hoping to get to know everybody better. And then a lot of you used different phrases which are okay, but I personally would probably say get to know people better. So you could say, I'm hoping to get more familiar with everybody. I'm hoping to get closer with everybody. I'm hoping to become more friendly with people. I'm hoping to become friends with them. Stuff like that. So all of it trying to get closer with these people in the office. Okay? Now, the next one is 他讨厌洗碗，所以他决定买自动洗碗机。He hates toiling away. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Oh, so tiring. So he hates to do the dishes. So he decided to buy a dishwasher. Okay, so we have two parts. So he hates to do the dishes. That's pretty straightforward. If we use the verb hate, we often follow with to verb. He hates to do the dishes. Okay? I use the word do the dishes, because that's a very common way to say this. We do the dishes. And when you do the dishes, you know that you mean wash. So you could say he hates to wash the dishes, or he hates to wash dishes. Both are okay. Do the dishes, wash the dishes, exactly the same, up to you. But do the dishes is pretty common, okay? And the second part, so he decided to buy a dishwasher. Pretty straightforward. Decided is followed by to verb, decided to buy. And what did he decide to buy? This was the part that was a little bit tricky. So this machine, what does it do? Well, it's a machine that washes dishes. So what do we call it? A dishwasher. Okay? So when you have ER, it means a person or a thing. And the first part of it, the word, tells you what it does. Dishwasher. So it means a machine that washes dishes. You can keep it simple, just say dishwasher. Okay? So I saw a lot of students use more complicated ways of saying this. Dishwashing machine, correct, but you can keep it simpler. Dishwasher. Automatic dishwasher. Well, every dishwasher is always automatic, so you don't need to say it's automatic. So dishwasher and automatic dishwasher are the same, so just don't use the word automatic, okay? So this kind of machine, a dishwasher. Now, wait a second. What is a washing machine then? It's a machine that washes. So is that okay? Well, when we say washing machine, it usually means a laundry machine, a machine for washing clothes. So washing machine means a clothes washing machine. A dishwashing machine is a dishwasher, okay? So slight difference there. A little bit tricky, just got to get used to what the most common words are, okay? But if you said automatic dishwashing machine or something like that, that's okay, I understand, but you can just say dishwasher. Okay, next up. We have Lesson 7, Conversation 1, Part 3. And here, we're using verb and then a person or an object, and then to verb. So being more specific about who's doing what or what's happening, okay? Giving a person that is receiving the action, right? So our first sentence is 我需要你帮我一个忙. Okay? Sounds pretty simple. And in English, you can write it two different ways. I need you to help me with something. So I need you to help me with something. And that something could be anything. Could be a small thing. I need you to help me with something. You could also say, I need you to do me a favor. Okay? So the meaning here is actually a little bit different. I need you to help me with something. Do you remember what we mean when we say help in English? Well, the meaning of help in Chinese and English is slightly different, right? In English, help usually means we're going to work together to do something. I need you to help me with something. That means I'm trying to do something and I want you to help me with it. Maybe I'm trying to fix the door. I want you to hold the door while I fix it. Okay? We're going to work together. Now, the other one is I need you to do me a favor. So I need you to do me a favor. A favor means you're going to do something for me. And that means I'm not going to do anything. You will do it for me. So the meaning is a little bit different. Help me means we're going to work together. Do me a favor means I want you to do something. Okay? And this one was pretty straightforward. I think most people got one of these sentences or one of these ways of writing it. I did see I need you to give me a favor. Usually with a favor, it goes with the verb do. Do me a favor. We don't often say give me a favor. Okay? So stick to the verb do me a favor. Okay? Okay. That one's pretty straightforward, so let's move on. 我邀请海瑟来我家玩，但我不想让他觉得我不爱干净. Oh yeah, so Heather, I gotta be careful around Heather. I don't want her to think I'm gross, right? So I invited Heather to come hang out at my house, but I don't want her to think I'm a messy person. Now, this is how I wrote it, and there are many ways to say this sentence. So if yours is different than this, that's okay, because there are some of the words in the Chinese version that don't really come over to the English version exactly. So it's a little bit different. So I invited Heather to come hang out at my house, but I don't want her to think I'm a messy person. So the first part, I invited Heather to come, and then come hang out. Why did I use hang out? Well, we use the phrase hang out for lots of situations. In Chinese, you say come to my house to play, but that would only be used for little children in English. In English, people don't say come to my house to play unless they're little kids playing with toys. For adults, we would use hang out. Maybe you watch a movie, maybe you just chat, maybe you drink a glass of wine, I don't know. But you hang out, you spend time together, okay? So I invited Heather to come hang out at my house, okay? Or at my place. Both are okay. Actually, I should change mine to at my place. It's better. It's more general. Because not everyone has a house, right? Okay. So you can say at my house, at my place. I invited Heather to come to my place or to come hang out at my place. It depends if you have that action, okay? And like I said, to play would be you're going to play with toys or something. And then the second part, I don't want her to think I'm a messy person. So we have the verb want followed by her and then to verb. I don't want her to think I'm a messy person. And here, this means I don't want her to think that I'm a messy person, but you can drop the word that. We'll learn that in the future. So we can just say, I don't want her to think. A few students wrote, I don't want to let her think I'm a messy person. But in English, we wouldn't use let that way as often, okay? And then the last part, I don't want her to think I'm a messy person. A person who doesn't clean very much, their house isn't beautiful, might be called a messy person. Maybe just the way you live your life. And it's not so bad, but it's not wonderful. Maybe Heather doesn't like it. So you could also say, so for messy person, you could say, I don't want her to think I'm not a clean person. That would be fine. Or I don't want her to think I'm not a neat person. Okay? So that would be the negative. Not clean, not a neat person. Both would be okay. But some of you took the Chinese and changed it to English and used the word love in there. But in English, we don't use love like that. So a few people said, I'm not a clean lover, or I'm not a clean loving person. But in English, we don't want to say that. It sounds kind of funny. No one loves being dirty, and we don't call someone a clean lover. It sounds kind of funny. So you'd say a clean person or a neat person. And then I saw a few people say, I don't want her to think I'm dirty. Well, dirty could mean just like you yourself, like you didn't shower. Or maybe it means you're a little bit like rude, dirty, like maybe you make dirty jokes. So you want to be careful about the word dirty. It sounds a little bit inappropriate. So we want to say, I don't want her to think I'm a messy person or a dirty person. Well, yeah, the dirty person sounds like it could be a little bit creepy, maybe. Okay? Next up, we have, okay, so you say that you invited Heather to come over. And then, so you ask your friend, 我想麻烦你星期五来我家打扫房子. So you could say this and keep it direct in what you're telling them as a statement. So I'd like to ask you to come over on Friday to clean my house. So I'd like to ask you to come over on Friday to clean my house. So this is a statement. I'm just saying it, but it acts kind of like a question. So I'd like to ask you blah, 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 blah is one way of asking a question. I'd like to ask you to come over on Friday to clean my house. Okay? So that means you are asking them, but this is a like formal way of asking a question. I'd like to ask you to blah, 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 blah. Okay? And you could say this other ways. You could keep it simple and say, I want you to come over on Friday. But using the word want is quite direct. So if you want to be a little more careful, you say, I'd like to ask you. Okay? And then a few people said, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sorry to bother you is usually used when you're interrupting someone. Maybe someone is busy and you say, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. Can you help me do this? And usually that's used for right now. They're busy right now and you're interrupting them right now, okay? So I'm sorry to bother you doesn't really work super well for this sentence. And then I did see someone say, I'd want to bother you. This one, you don't want to say that. I want to bother you means like, ha, 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 I'm hitting you. You don't want to bother someone. You want to say, I'm sorry to bother you, or I don't want to bother you. Don't say, I want to bother you. Pia! Be nice to your friends, okay? So I'd like to ask you to come over on Friday to clean my house. This is it as a statement. Now, you could also just be direct and make it into a question and say, hey, would you mind helping me clean my house on Friday? So this isn't using the grammar we learned, but it's a way of asking nicely. Oh, would you mind helping me clean my house on Friday? this would be to work together to clean the house, right? So you just want some help, right? And then your friend replies you and goes, 哦，你必须说服我帮你那样做。Definitely. They're not just going to do it for free. Your friend says, you'll need to convince me to help you do it. Okay, so you'll need to convince me to help you do it. So I use the future tense because right now you're asking me. I'm saying in the future, you will need to convince me. So you need to do something to get me to help you out, okay? You'll need to convince me to help you do it, okay? And now, many of you use the word persuade. Persuade and convince mean the same thing. So you'll need to convince me, you'll need to persuade me. Well, there might be a slight difference if you look it up in the dictionary, but day to day, they're almost exactly the same. And so you could also say you need to or you have to. You don't have to use the future tense, but I think it works here because it's going to happen in the future. Maybe you need to buy them dinner to get them to help you, okay? How would you convince your friend to help you? Would you buy them cookies? Would you buy them a gift? Would you buy them dinner? Or when they come over, would you just like give them beer or something? I don't know. Some of my friends say like, oh, you don't need to give me money. You don't need to give me anything. Just buy me a couple beers. It's pretty good. Easy friends. Okay. Next up, we are looking at Lesson 7, Conversation 1, Part 4. So here we have verb and then an adjective followed by to verb, okay? And also we talked about it is something to something, okay? So a few different ways to describe your feelings about something, right? So here we can use adjectives to describe your feeling about it. Now, before we get into that, I have a question. Rewind. You'll need to convince me to help you do it. The question is, can I say, convince me to do that? So you'll need to convince me to do that. Yeah, totally fine. So you'll need to convince me to do that. Yeah, so that changes the focus on who is doing what. Or it changes the focus on what the action is. So you'll need to convince me to help you do it, meaning you need to convince me to help you. So then we're going to work together. Or if you say you'll need to convince me to do that, it just means do anything. So basically it means the same thing, just a little bit of a focus on, are you focused on convince me to help or convince me to do the cleaning? I assume you mean do that, meaning do the house cleaning. So yeah, both are okay. So next up is adjective to verb. So our first sentence is 在家追剧一整天很疗愈. Sit there. Boop, boop, boop. So nice, so relaxing. Maybe you think it's relaxing, but some people might think that you feel like crap. Oh my God, I'm just a couch potato. I need to get out and move. But some people definitely feel like this. So you could say it is therapeutic to binge watch TV shows at home all day. So the key word here is therapeutic. So therapeutic, 4 syllables. This is a hard word, therapeutic. And if you say it faster, therapeutic, okay? The stress is on the pew, therapeutic. Now, this is actually a pretty common word. So this is a good one to remember. Therapeutic, meaning something that makes you feel better. It heals you. It heals your mind, heals your soul. It makes you feel better. Something is therapeutic. So it's pretty common in conversational English. Not super common. It's not every day, but maybe every week or every month, you might hear someone use the word therapeutic, okay? So it is therapeutic to binge watch TV shows at home all day, okay? Basically, this is the form we learned. Adjective and then to verb. And our to verb is to binge watch. Binge watch means you're watching episode after episode after episode. You don't stop. Maybe you watch 8 hours of a TV show. Have you ever done that before? When I was in college, it was the end of the school semester. And so I had 2 days where I was in the dorm with nothing to do. My exams were finished and I wasn't going home for 2 more days. So I just watched the entire season of a show called Lost in 2 days. So 7 episodes in 1 day, then the next day, 7 episodes in 1 day. It was great, but it felt maybe a little bit too much. Have you ever done this? Maybe it's something that we did in college a little bit more often. Hopefully you don't do this too much now. So it's therapeutic to binge watch TV shows at home all day. So therapeutic means something that heals you, makes you feel better. So you can use other words. You could say it's soothing. Soothing is like it calms you and makes you feel better. You could also say it's healing, meaning you worked hard all week and now it makes you better. It's healing, okay? You could also use the word relaxing, but relaxing is a little bit different. Relaxing means you go, ah. But if we want to include the feeling that it's actually making you better, we want to use a word like soothing, healing, or therapeutic, okay? I saw a few other adjectives. I saw comfortable. It's comfortable to binge watch TV shows. Maybe, but the meaning is a little bit different. Comfortable just means you feel good doing it. It doesn't mean it's making you better, okay? Comfortable doesn't have to be a good thing. It could just mean like it's not hard to do, okay? I saw someone use the word chilling. Chilling does not work here. I know you were thinking of the word chill, like chill out. Chill out. But if you use the word chilling with ing, chilling actually means scary. So if you say it's chilling, that means something, it's chilling, makes you cold, it's chilling. So chill with ing means scary. So be careful of that. I also saw the word reliving, but I think you meant to write the word relieving. So it's relieving to binge watch TV shows. You forgot an E in there, relieving. And relieving would be okay. Maybe like you have a lot of stress and then it's relieving. It makes the stress go away. So pretty good. But again, I think the best word for this is therapeutic, which maybe you didn't learn before. But a new word for all of you. Something is therapeutic. Going to the hot springs is very therapeutic. Watching a movie can be therapeutic. Listening to calm music might be therapeutic. Okay? Okay, keep going. It is therapeutic to binge watch TV shows at home all day. I use the phrase TV shows. You could use the word drama. Drama is a little more specific, but it means the same thing. It's a kind of TV show. Okay, and keep on going. Kyle 很惊讶去花莲玩，竟然遇到汤马士。This is a true story. I went to Hualien with my friend and suddenly, what the heck? Why are you in the hotel? I didn't plan this. So you can say, Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas in Hualien. I was in Hualien traveling, relaxing in the hotel lobby, and suddenly I see my friend Thomas. Oh my God! Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas in Hualien. So we're using Kyle as the subject because Kyle is the person who had this feeling. What feeling? Was surprise. About what action? To run into Thomas. Okay? And we've learned this phrase before, the phrase run into. If you see someone on the street and it's a surprise, we often use the word run into or bump into. Both of those would be okay. Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas or to bump into Thomas. So a surprise to see them, you'd say run into or bump into. Okay? You could also use the word see. Kyle was surprised to see Thomas in Hualien. But if we want to focus on that it was a surprise, you could use run into or bump into, meaning that you didn't plan it. Okay? See is in general. Okay? And then a few of you use the word meet. For a surprise, we usually don't use the word meet. Meet sounds like you planned something. Okay? So it's better to use run into, bump into, or even see for this one. Now, I also saw someone say surprised to ran into Thomas. Now, remember, if it's to verb, you can't use past tense. So do not say to ran into. You have to say to run into. So it's to, then the base verb, the verb that's not changed. Okay, let's keep on moving. If you have a question, leave a message in the chat. How many times am I going to say that? I feel like I repeat myself. You guys should yell at me sometimes. Say, shut up! Okay, next up, 听到姐姐用娃娃音跟男友讲电话，实在令人尴尬。Oh, hey, baby, how are you? Ooh, I don't want to hear that. That's terrible. So you could say, it was awkward to hear my sister talk to her boyfriend on the phone using a baby voice. Oh, hey, baby. Gross. Do you ever talk to anyone on the phone like that? I don't think I do. I hope not. If I do, please yell at me and say, oh, God, that's so awkward. Okay? So it was awkward to hear my sister talk to her boyfriend on the phone using a baby voice. Okay. Now, the feeling here, I use the word awkward. Awkward means it's uncomfortable and it makes you feel weird. So awkward is a really common word in American English, meaning that some situation or something happening makes you feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. It's kind of hard to describe what awkward really means. So maybe look up the word awkward and find some examples. Awkward is a really useful word. People in America use it all the time. Maybe this is a bad situation. It feels kind of bad. It feels weird. Okay? Now, many of you use the word embarrassing. It was embarrassing to hear my sister talk to her boyfriend using a baby voice. Now, embarrassing is slightly different than awkward. Awkward just feels weird and uncomfortable, and it's like, ugh, feels bad. Embarrassing is usually when you feel some shame about something. Maybe you don't want someone to hear something or see something and like go, oh gosh, that's so embarrassing. If something your sister did is embarrassing, that means you think she should feel bad. Or if you feel embarrassed, you feel like someone is laughing at you. So embarrassing works here. That would be okay. But I think awkward is a little bit better. Awkward just means the situation is strange and uncomfortable. Okay? I have a question over here. Can I say during his trip in Hualien? Okay. So Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas in Hualien. Or Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas during his trip to Hualien. So usually a trip would be a trip to somewhere. If we're describing the situation, Kyle was in Hualien. So if we're talking about the situation back then, you would use the word in. But if you're talking about the trip, you'd say the trip to Hualien. So yes, you can use the word during. You're just adding more detail. So Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas in Hualien. That's just generally saying at that place, in that city. Okay? Kyle was surprised to run into Thomas during his trip to Hualien. You're changing the focus to being about the trip. You're being more specific about when I ran into Thomas. So yeah, that's totally fine. But I would say during his trip to Hualien. Usually we have a trip to somewhere, okay? Hopefully that helps. And back to the awkward sister conversation. It was awkward to hear my sister talk to her boyfriend on the phone using a baby voice. I said using a baby voice. Another way is, oh, excuse me, geez. Another way to say this would be baby talk. Usually baby talk is when an adult is talking to a baby. So baby talk is like goo goo gaga, or like in Chinese you would say like oh he de de, or something like that. But in English, so baby talk is usually how a mom or a dad would talk to the baby. It's like, oh baby, do you want to drink some wawa? In English, wawa would mean water. Oh, do you want your wawa? So that would be baby talk. So you could use baby talk in this sentence. Yeah, she was using baby talk with her boyfriend. Oh, hey, BB, you want some wawa? But, oh gosh, but I would use with a baby voice to describe maybe the sound of her voice. Oh, I miss you. Ugh. Sorry, I'm making myself uncomfortable. Sorry, you guys must be dying. So you could also say a cute voice. So baby voice or baby talk is being specific about what kind of voice it is, and it's really gross, like a baby. You could also say a cute voice, but that's a little bit less crazy and awkward, okay? So I hope your relatives don't talk to their boyfriend or girlfriend like this. I gotta stop. It's making me nervous, making me uncomfortable. Okay. Do you want some wawa? Oh, gross. Okay, next up, let's keep on moving. We have 我们可以去蔡依林的演唱会，实在太令人兴奋了。Ooh, Jolene Tsai, I can't wait. So I'm really excited to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. Or you could also say, it's really exciting to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. So depends who you're talking about. Are you focusing on your feelings or just generally the feeling of the situation? If it's about your feelings, I'm really excited to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. Remember, if it's your feelings, use ED. I'm really excited to go, okay? If you're talking about the situation, it's really exciting to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. So it's really exciting. ING is talking about something that you're looking at, something outside of you. I feel excited. That situation is exciting, okay? So that's a little bit tricky, but I'm really excited or it's really exciting, okay? And then excited to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. Okay, now we have a concert. And whose concert is it? Jolene Tsai. So should we say possessive? Jolene Tsai's concert? Well, for a concert, we don't often use apostrophe S. And also, we wouldn't say the concert of Jolene Tsai. That sounds like Jolene Tsai owns the concert. She bought it or something. But you can use Jolene Tsai, her name, as an adjective. We have a concert. And what kind of concert? A Jolene Tsai concert, okay? Just like you could have a concert and a J Cho concert, okay? So you can use the person as an adjective in this situation, okay? So Jolene Tsai concert. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. So I am, then our adjective, really excited, followed by to verb, to go to the Jolene Tsai concert. There's only one coming up soon, so we use the Jolene Tsai concert, okay? So hopefully you guys got that. These are really useful sentence phrases or sentence forms that you can use day to day. It's really useful to use sentences like this. Here you go. See if you can do things like that. Okay. Now, last but not least, we have Lesson 7, Conversation 1, Part 5, our dialogue. And so, like we mentioned before, we're out on a date with somebody who seems really wonderful. They're nice, they're smart, they're charming, they're funny, they're interesting. Wow, the person for me. But then they take a bite of your food. Oh, can you really do that on a date? Holy crap. And then you're actually feeling pretty good about it. You're a nice, positive person. You say, yeah, let's share. Don't worry about it. But then what does your date say? Your date says, I think you're too nice for me. What the heck? Have you ever heard that before? Well, it happens sometimes. Maybe they think, you like me too much. You're too nice. You do too many nice things for me. I want someone who's a little more independent, maybe someone who'll push back at me and tell me to be better. So it can be bad for a relationship if one person is too nice, right? So your date says, sorry, it's over. You're too nice for me. And then what happens? Well, you go in denial. You're in denial. You don't want to believe it. Oh, we'll buy a house in the suburbs. We'll get married and get a dog and a cat, and we'll have 20 children together. Oh my God, too many. So our homework for this plays upon some of our phrases from this dialogue. So our first sentence is,这对我来说很难开口，但你的牙齿卡太渣了。Oh my gosh, really? Maybe you were eating broccoli and there's pieces of broccoli stuck in your teeth. Oh my gosh. So the sentence is, this is difficult for me to say, but there's food stuck in your teeth. If you say this to something, they will appreciate it. This is a good thing to say. It's awkward to say, but it's a good thing to say. It will help the person out, especially if you're friends with them. You don't want them to talk to their boss with like a piece of chicken sticking out of their tooth. Okay, this is difficult for me to say, but there's food stuck in your teeth. Now, you could also say, it's hard for me to say this, but there's food stuck in your teeth. Both are okay. They're basically the same idea. This is difficult for me to say, okay? And the second part, but there's food stuck in your teeth. So you can use the word food to talk about whatever is stuck in their teeth. You know it's food. Well, I hope it's food. You could also say, there's something stuck in your teeth, okay? Both are okay. There's food stuck, there's something stuck in your teeth, okay? And stuck is describing the food. There is food stuck in your teeth, and maybe they can go get it out, okay? No big issues with that one, so let's move on. If you have a question, let me know, okay? So next up, 作为导演，新人接受大家对电影的批评。Oh, good. Maybe everyone says, sorry, that movie was terrible. It was so bad. And the director goes, oh, okay. So the director took everyone's criticism of his movie well. So the director took everyone's criticism of his movie well. So you take something well. So this was a little bit tricky because a lot of you put took well or takes well together. But in our dialogue, we had you're taking it well. So the it is what happens, what people are telling you. So the director took everyone's criticism of his movie well. Blah, blah. It's a mouthful. You could also change the sentence around and say, when everyone criticized the director's movie, he took it well. So you can simplify it to that phrase, he took it well, okay? So, he took everyone's criticism well. So you put what he took in the middle. You take something well, okay? So if you put the criticisms or whatever after the word well, move it around, put the adverb at the end, okay? And then I use the word criticism. Criticism means people are telling you what's wrong with something. It could be helpful, but generally criticism means it's a noun, meaning that they're telling you what's wrong with it, okay? A few people use the word review. Review could be good or bad. That just means someone's telling you what they think about it. So the director took everyone's reviews of his movie well. That would be okay, but criticism suggests that it's a little bit harsher. It's not nice stuff. It's maybe they're telling the director what's wrong with it, okay? And I also saw someone use the word critics. A critic is a person who does this job. So a critic is a person who says what's wrong with something. So we don't want to use critic here because that's a person, okay? So he took everyone's criticism well, or when everyone criticized his movie, he took it well. Okay. Next up, 很多人在郊区买房子，每天通勤上班. Now, this is true about America, and it's a very common thing around American cities. Not that many people live inside of American cities. Most people move out to the suburb. So I wrote this as a lot of people buy houses in the suburbs and commute to work every day. So this is true of many people. I say that I come from Boston, but I don't really come from Boston. I come from the suburbs. Boston is here. I grew up down here, about almost an hour away, because people don't often live in the city, they work in the city. So they travel in, they commute to work. So a lot of people buy houses in the suburbs and commute to work every day. So have you ever been to the suburbs in America? That's where you have little roads and houses with yards and maybe people playing baseball in fields and stuff like that. The suburbs is pretty nice, but you might think it's a little bit boring sometimes. Depends on your lifestyle. So I use the word a lot of. A lot of people buy houses in the suburbs. You could also say many people. Many people buy houses in the suburbs. Or you could say lots of. Lots of people buy houses in the suburbs. Okay? And here we want to use the word buy. The present tense of buy. Because we're talking about in general. It's not happening one time or a specific time. It's a general truth. So a lot of people buy houses in the suburbs, okay? And again, because we have a lot of people or many people, we want an S on house. A lot of people buy houses in the suburbs. And suburbs means that area of the area of the world that's close to a city but outside the city, where houses are separate. Maybe it's a house with a yard, a house with a yard. And they're neighborhoods. This is what you see in American movies. Kids riding bikes from house to house, stuff like that. And then the second part, a lot of people buy houses in the suburbs and commute to work every day. So it's still plural people. So the verb is commute. Commute means travel to work. So commute to work every day. And some of you said drive to work, but commute to work is better because it's more general. Drive to work means they're in a car. But commute, it could mean drive. It also could mean take the train. It could mean take the subway. It could mean take the bus. It depends where you live. So where I grew up, my father would drive to work. That was his commute. But a friend of mine, he lives in the suburbs of Boston too, but he takes the bus to work because he's closer to the city. And then maybe my cousin, he takes the train to work. So he's in the middle there. So kind of close to the city, but not far enough where you have to drive. Okay? So commute is general, just any kind of travel to work. Okay. And then, last but not least, we have our final sentence of today. 我一直接到推销电话，我要封锁这个号码。So I keep getting sales calls. I'm going to block this phone number. So this has been happening to me a lot recently, and it's getting frustrating. Leave me alone. I keep getting sales calls. So we use the word keep to mean that it happens again and again. I keep getting sales calls. Okay? For a phone call, we use the verb get. I keep getting calls. So I saw a few people use I keep having sales calls. Having means you actually answer the call. But to get a call, it means it's coming to you. So we want to use the word get. Okay. And then I also saw someone say, I always got sales calls. If you say got, that's in the past tense. That means it's over. That means now you're not getting them. But it's continuing, so we want to use ing. I keep getting sales calls. And then I use the word sales calls. Basically, they're calling you to sell you something, so you can say it's a sales call. So sales means what they are doing, this action, this activity. Remember, the person on the phone is not a sales. In Taiwan, a lot of people will say, oh, I am a sales. That's wrong. Sales is the job or the industry, what you do. What you are a salesperson. So salesperson, you're not a sales. Okay? So you could call this a sales call because the activity is sales. I also saw, I keep getting promotion calls. This is okay, but it's not a very common phrase. So I understand what you mean, like keep getting promotion calls, meaning calls about promotions. But this is not a very common phrase. It's better to say sales calls. And then I keep getting cold calls. You're correct that cold call is what you can call these kinds of sales calls. But when you're receiving these kinds of calls, we don't often call them cold calls. Cold call is often used in a business when your job is to call out. You'd say, oh, my job, I make cold calls. A cold call means you don't know the other person and you call them without any kind of relationship. It's the first time you call them. That's why it's cold. It's cold because you don't know them. Once you get to know them, it becomes more warm and happy. So a cold call, you call someone that you don't know. I used to do cold calls for work, and it was terrible. It's not fun. You feel like you're bothering people. Hey, I know you're busy, but buy stuff. Leave me alone. So I keep getting sales calls is best. I also saw selling calls. People will understand what you mean, but it's better to call it sales calls because sales is the activity, the action. Okay? And then the second part, I'm going to block this phone number. I think everybody got this. So to block a number means you stop it. It can't come through anymore. It's gone. It won't reach your phone anymore. I'm going to block this phone number. You could also say, I will block this phone number, but I'm going to is more like you're sure you're going to do it, okay? And you don't have to say phone number. You could just say number. I'm going to block this number, okay? So I think that's the last of our notes for the text. So have you ever been in this kind of situation where you go out on a date and the person seems great, but there's one weird thing they do? Here, they eat your food. And that's pretty weird, right? What about you? Have you ever had a situation where your date seems perfect, but there's one thing that they do and it's so terrible? I went on a date once where everything seemed wonderful, and then we got our food, and the person I was on a date with was eating like this. And I was shocked. It was too much, and I couldn't handle it. And it's like, you're really nice, but I don't know if this is going to work out. So how about you? What's What's the worst date you've ever been on? Have you ever been shocked by your date? And have you ever been on a date with someone too nice? I don't know. I hope not. I hope you grabbed that person and said, wow, they're so nice. I should stick with them. You don't want someone who's not nice, right? What about the 5 stages of grief? So in this lesson, we learned about the first stage of grief, being in denial, where you don't want to even think about your problem. This happens to everybody, right? Something bad happens and you go, oh no, that couldn't be true. Your boss calls you and says, I'm sorry, you're fired. And you go, oh, he must be joking. Well, sorry, bad news. So being in denial is a natural part of dealing with grief and dealing with bad things happening, right? And now, that's our first conversation. In our second conversation coming up next week, we'll see what happens if the person, or if you have a negative personality. Your date takes a bite of your food and you blow up at them, you get angry. And then maybe things don't go well on the date because you're being negative and emotional. And then we'll see what the second stage of grief is. So, you get angry. First, you're in denial. No, it can't be happening to me. And then you realize it really is happening. And then you get angry. Why would this happen to me? I hate the world. But it's going to be okay. Once you get to the last stage, everything will be great. Okay? So, next week, we'll take a look at conversation 2. Hopefully you have some fun learning about these stages of grief. Oh, before we close off, I got a question. Can I write the sentence like this? I have picked many cold callings. I want to add them into my block list. Okay, pretty good. Now the first part, for cold calls, you want to say calls, not callings. We wouldn't use calling. If you receive a call from someone, you don't need ing. So picked means you answer the phone. So I've picked up many cold calls. So you could say something like that. I've picked up many cold calls. So like that suggests you answered the phone. I've picked up many cold calls. That would be okay. But if we're talking about generally, usually we don't answer cold calls, or I don't. I don't know about you. Do you pick up the phone when it's a number you don't know? I don't. So I've been getting cold calls. If you say, I picked up, that means you answered and say, hello. So it depends on what you mean. So picked up means you answer the phone. So I picked up many cold calls. I want to add them into my block list. So that would be okay. So add them to my block list. You don't need into. I want to add them to my block list. That's okay if you have a block list on your phone, which some things will have a block list or something like that. Like a web browser, if you're using Google Chrome, there might be some sort of block list for certain things. Or on your phone, you might have a block list so people don't call you. But that usually means you go to that list and add a line to that list. For me, on my phone, I don't manage a list like that. I never go to the list of people I block. Usually, if I get a new number, I block that number. So I'm going to block this number. Because on my phone, at least, when I get a call, there's a button that says block. And I block that number. Or recently online, I've been getting promotional text messages. So not sales calls, but promotional text messages. So they're trying to sell me things through line. And I block those. So I don't manage a list. I just block one by one. Okay? Hopefully that helps. So pick up a call means you answer it. But we want to talk about in general. So I keep getting calls. And then I'm going to block this number. You could also say add it to my block list. That's okay too. Both are pretty good. Okay? So hopefully that's clear. Depends on how you use your phone actually. So like we've said before, these are my answers. The way you write them might be a little bit different. Everybody speaks in different ways, so there are different ways to write these sentences. So the way I wrote it is not the only way to say these things. So remember that you have lots of choices. When you learn these different patterns and phrases and sayings, these are tools for you to use. These are not the only thing you can say, right? So it's just giving you different options. You could say it one way or another way or another way. It just depends what you're trying to say and what actions you're trying to describe. So hopefully that helps. Always remember, it's a tool to use. It's not a rule to follow, okay? So next week, we'll be taking a look at conversation 2. You might have already looked at it, and it's our angry personality. How dare you take a bite of my food? Couldn't you just order it yourself? And your date goes, whoa, 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 whoa. You're a little bit too intense for me. And what happens? And how do you deal with being broken up with? So I'll see you guys next week. Have a great long weekend. It's Thursday, but tomorrow's free. So today is basically Friday. Oh my God, lucky you. So don't stay up too late. It's already almost 11. Well, actually, if you want to stay up late, whatever, it's up to you. It's your weekend. Have some fun. Just try to relax, do something therapeutic, okay? Make yourself feel better. So thanks for joining, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you next week. Please feel free to leave a comment or any questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks a lot, everyone. I have fun doing these. I hope you have fun joining. If you are free and would like to chat with me one-on-one, you can give me a call. Maybe if no one texts me, I might come find you, okay? So hopefully I'll hear from some of you, and have a wonderful night. Happy long weekend and happy double 10 day. Good night, everyone.